Okay, are you sharing the screen? Okay, we're live on YouTube with our guest. Welcome YouTube visitors. We're going to be going live momentarily with our webinar. And we'll let everyone in. Okay, I think we can start letting people in. Where's the control? Okay, welcome everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. This is another one of our Wednesday webinars. And today we're going to be talking about 5 steps to effective project management. And we'll wait a few more participants. They're still trickling in. We're right on time, 2 o'clock. Our presenter, Alex Rodoff, is going to be taking a deep dive into 5 steps to effective project management. And at this point, without further ado, I'm going to hand off the microphone to Alex. And just to remind everyone, the chat is open. You can post all your questions and we will address them as they come in, and also address them at the end of the webinar. This webinar is live and also will be recorded on YouTube. I will post a link to the YouTube version of this webinar. And you can always request, if you like to get a deck, this deck contains a lot of good, valuable information. Leave your email and we can email the whole deck to you. Alex, you have the stage.
All right. Thanks, Yuri. 1, 2, 3. Quick check on the mic. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Great. Again, well, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming over. We were excited to have you all here. We have still people trickling in, but I do want to again express my gratitude to everyone who joined and who interested in this topic. We will be covering the 5 steps to effective project management. My name is Alex Rodoff, and I'm proud to be a speaker today. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to use that chat feature of on the webinar and ask your questions there. We will be able to, hopefully we'll be able to have time to go through some of those questions and possibly give you some answers, but we can now get going. All right. So, quick agenda, right? And you probably already kind of try to guess, and some of our descriptions of the webinar, we already kind of put some of this out there, but just to kind of start expanding a little bit more into the topic. So these are the 5 steps, and obviously each of these steps is a very it could be very big for anyone, a specific scenario. But here's how we're breaking it down. So goal setting, setting up goals at the organizational level or the professional level. We'll talk about that. Systemizing the process. Obviously, we need to start, getting these processes in place where we can start repeating the same activities without necessarily, doing it as if we're doing it from the first time. The communication, it's It's ironically here number 3, but it's in the middle. And I would like to stress that this is the center of everything. After all, we have a lot of good statistics about that in today's content. So feel free to use that. But obviously, as project management profession, we know that we have to be good communicators in order to succeed in that profession. Transparency. Um, we'll talk about that, how and when we should be able to put the right information in the right people, but basically how to manage the transparency effect. And lastly, the software, where with new technology, with new things that we're dealing with, including the pandemic and being remote for the most part, the software technology really helping us out in order to achieve all these 4 steps that we just mentioned. All right, so let's dive in. Okay. Um, so the first one is the goal setting, and we basically split this into. You can split this or characterize this as a bottom up or top down, or you can call it organizational or personal, right? So we do have these 2 approaches where we need to kind of go through the goal setting, and that's becomes our objective in the way we're achieving things, whether this is organizationally or whether this is professionally. So organizational, when we talk about the organization top down type of goal setting, we usually talk about the organizational strategy initiatives overall, aka projects, right? Portfolios and projects and programs. How do we achieve those? Execution of the project and project management and benefits management and focus on value. Each of these topics deserve a lot of collaboration separately, but the purpose of today is to kind of go through what kind of goal settings we can possibly think of, we can possibly address during our improvement of the project management process. Bottom up approach from the personal perspective. We start looking at ourselves as individuals, as professionals, as project managers, as fellow employees or fellow friends. Professional development, right? We're looking at our team and objectives of the team, how well we would be able to play as a team member within that team objective. Then going up a little bit and looking at the project planning, how our personal objectives are going to be aligned with that, higher level, more organizational like objectives. So these things are sort of one coming from the top, this one coming from the bottom, and we need to find a way where it's coexist, and organically. So a little bit of a content that is structured here, where we can look at the organizational sample of goals. Like, for example, the last project quality audit results barely met the PMO standards. So we need to be able to meet PMO standards and reduce the documentation errors. These could be organizational type of goals, objectives, and the personal objectives would be like promote, to get the next title, get a bigger salary, or whatever the career path or professional development path you would choose. All right. So in order to kind of put it on the perspective of kind of 1 through 7, and this is like a 7 different steps under the goal setting, I'd like to kind of focus. I like the way it is focusing on the as is and to be. So we always, as a consultant, we always, as a management consultants, we always kind of define what the status at the moment, what the problem statement, where we are, right, versus where we want to be. So we always look at, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, and we focus on how do we fill that gap, right? So how do we fill that gap from where we are right now to where we want to be? Some organizations, you may be in the very initial steps of where you are and when you want to be, and you may be not too ambitious to get too much of the automation of or too much ambitious goals of yours. In some organizations where you're more mature, you have more processes, your state where you are right now is probably higher at that maturity step, maturity letter. So as far as going through the steps, no matter where you are on that spectrum, as far as filling out that gap, that gap between as is to be, right? Um, Number one, goal setting being a recognition of current indication, current condition of where we are. True, realistic, don't lie to yourself. Uh, just say, just assessment of where you are right now. A lot of times, uh, a lot of times, folks are like, "Oh no, we're better than that. We're better than that." But you got to be really, really realistic, and actually, it helps you to sort of set the benchmark a little lower, so it's easier to to overcome. So in that sense, you got to be realistic at where you are at the moment. And the second step, a picture of the desired condition or the to be state that must come next. So the clear indication, obviously. So now we know where we are. Now we need to know where we should be, right? What's the goal actually, and then the step number three, assess the gap. Uh, what's in between? Identify the real reason for the change. Um, Also interesting and very useful exercise to go through. Sometimes organizations changing from point A to point B, and without realization, without understanding what is it, the reason why they're doing it. So that's kind of good checkbox to put when you're trying to attempt to set up your goals. Make the commitment, right? Get the budget, get the commitment, get the resources to get this changed, to get this done, to get this goal set. Set a specific change goal, um, and develop an implementation and action plan. When the point number six, set a specific change goal. This is where we're looking at measurements. We're looking at specifics of what is it that we're looking to change in order to get to that to be state, right? So this is like more decomposition of things that we need to do in order to put this into the plan, which is number 7 here, which is okay, this is the game plan, this is how we're going to get from A to B, this is the goal setting exercise. All right, it covers number 1. There's one more slide I have about this, which I like to sort of visualize that all these steps are funneling into the steps like 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 here, but it really contributing from those two major golden posts, if you will, where you are and where you want to be. This is the fundamental that everything else in between is going to be dependent on, and you got to be realistic, honest to yourself. What is it your first post, which is as is, to where's your the to be post, right? And then to build that bridge between the two. So current as is state, desired to be state, and then you walking through the step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here in order to set those goals, measure them, and come up with a game plan. All right, that's truly number 1 covered. Number 2, systemizing the process. We talk about this all the time, and you probably have seen a bunch of interactions with different management consultants or who are, talk about process, how important it is to develop the process so we can capitalize on this, grow and scale and grow the organization. That's all very good, but let's just get down to specifics. How do we do this for project management process, for project execution process, for portfolio management, program management? So here's the different aspects of it, and it's interesting to look at it from these 4 different perspectives. Methodical systematization requires multi-year plan. All right, a lot of people forget about this, but it's very easy to set up software and then expect the software to click and then it does something right away and you see the results right away. It doesn't work like this in the process, especially the large organization is. You would see the more complex the implementation of any process may become. So the expectation is a multi-year process, and it needs to be focused on the organizational needs, right? Not the specific facility, not the specific attribute of what you're dealing with today. It has to be very methodical, multi-year kind of focus on making this rolled out and really be patient while it's still kind of marinating, if you will, and then getting well, better and better over time. Um, Number two here, and there's no specific sequence here. It's just different angles at which we're looking at this in order to improve the systemization of the process for project management. So the plan should aim the greatest pain, right? Um, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and a lot of folks just ignore the real pains. And this could be different reasons. It's not comfortable to bring up some painful conversation, especially to different forums. Maybe the right time in you, so you have to time it. You have to bring the right people. You have to, really address this. But in order to to bring the painful conversation, you need to have that skill, that courage, that stature, that skill in order to be able to not to just bring this up, but the plan should aim at the greatest pain first. So the plan, in order to systemize the process, should aim that complex, that issue that projects are failing or we're not on time for the projects, and we cannot communicate or anything like that. So maybe there's a process that needs to be built in order to address that pain. And the other one is my favorite one out of all of this, is that the exact sequence for the establishing the project management model is not important, but establishing the right sequence for your organization. So what it means really is that you can look at this and do or not do any of this aspect, or address any of these aspects of the systemization of the process for project management. You got to look at your own situation, and I like to bring this example for many different scenarios. And in life, you can get the best advice you can from professionals from all over the country, for the best coaches, best consultants you can get. But you got to look at your specific organization, your specific situation, and address that specific pain, right? And be methodical and wait before the process really kicks in, and you can get a benefit, get benefit from it. The project management methodology should not be built for its own sake. So also, you got to make this reality check. Sometimes process is over-engineered, and I've seen a lot of over-engineered processes. Doesn't have to be over-engineered, but the process should really, really focus on that value, on that pain that you are solving. So if you look at this, all these aspects are actually interlinked with each other, and make sense to address when you're working with your process building. All right. With that, we're moving to the center of the project management skill, which is the communication, right? This is the wonderful metric, and you can actually take a look at this metric and bring this up when you're challenging your leadership hey, we need enhancement on project management. Now, we have organizations all over the country saying that we don't believe in project management, or we don't like project management, or we just don't take it that seriously, it doesn't really impact our business, things like that. All of this could be true. But there are some numbers, and could be applied, could be applicable to your situation, could be not. But here's the wisdom here. 1 out of 5 projects is unsuccessful due to inefficient communications, right? So, and you can put dollars behind this statement, saying if you have $1 million, you have 200,000 wasted because of the poor communication. So this is the risk. There's the valuation of your proposition to improve communication in the company, to improve the communication in your project management office. And this is not just a number from the sky. This is research. There's a lot of information being collected to come up with these numbers. Obviously, there could be other factors impacting the project, but communication is known to be the king of project management, and efficient communication significantly improve the outcomes of those projects. And you can also say in budget or within budget and on time. All right. So how do we address this? And we can have number of methods and trainings and methodologies how to improve anything, and especially communication. Here's what we like to talk about when we talk about improving the communication. All right, so make the communication a priority. A lot of times companies may say, we don't like project management, we don't believe, we do agile, we do something else, we do what we do, right? But if you start addressing one of these points one by one, you kind of collectively talking about the best practices in project management. Make the communication a priority. Make people talk to each other, make people write emails, make people share information, make this embraces in the company, as this is something that is not just what we do, but this is something that we embrace. This is something that we really, really put on a pedestal. This is something that we really push and pay attention to. Number 2 here, don't assume you know everything. A lot of developers, a lot of people in different professions, may assume, and assumption is one of the key, one of the big enemies of project management. But don't assume you know anything, right? And sort of bring this wisdom to your team members and say, look, guys, you know a lot, but don't, the reason why we're struggling with this project is we don't know enough. So we need to share information so we can find better ways to deal with things. Keep things positive. Important part to keep things positive. A lot of folks are, getting too much in the weeds of the problem and making it very, very seriously. I tend to take things a little bit more seriously than they should have been, but thinking it more positively makes the communication, makes the flow and the efficiency of this communication and the outcomes of this activity actually really, really better. So it's improving the positiveness is just one big ways you can ride on, not just in project management, in any communication. Switch up the communication channels. Make sure you're not just doing chats, or not just doing Jira, or not just doing project online or Power Apps or whatever, the Teams or Zoom. Have switch these channels all the time. Switch the channel so it's more advanced, but it's more natural, right? I mean, not everyone, especially when you're dealing with larger teams with vendors, all of them are using different styles, and all of them are using different, from different cultures. Switch these channels. Be the person who would, that professional who would embrace any types of communication. I mean, I've heard that a lot of times. We use only Slack, or we use only Teams, or we use only Zoom. Be open to switch these channels. That would open more doors to communicate. Then the keeping updates timely and concise. So a lot of times when we put this status report and then work on this on Thursday, 6 p.m., 11 p.m., because it's Friday's a status report, and we need to put this out there, and turns out stakeholders are not interested in 90% what's in that report. So focus on what is needed to be communicated, Focus on the concise content. There's a lot of content these days. Folks are reading a lot of reports. Folks are reading a lot of information, especially when they're remote right now. There's a lot of reading. There's a lot of communication that is not in person, right? So the more information you put it out there, the more information, the more likelihood of that to be over complex as opposed to as it should be. So just keep that in mind. The information got to be concise, and if you can finish your status report in 5 minutes versus half hour, do it. Right? Make it short. Everyone's gonna love it. Make it concise. Project is XYZ. Here's an issue. Here's a problem. Here's how we're addressing it. We need to issue a new risk, new issue. Discussed it. Closed. Done. Thank you very much. Right? That really, really appreciate everybody who's participated in the communication. All right. Transparency. It's two-edged sword sort of thing, right? This is the quote we have here. The quality of being done in an open way without secrets, right? And the transparency is defined as the quality of being done in an open way without secrets. So anything that we do the communication, we do goal setting, we're building the process, or we're working with some technology to improve our process. How transparent should we be, right? I mean, there's a lot of different people. Some have their own agenda and their own goals, and we don't want to show leadership something that is not, fully completed and things like that. I guess this is the fear of, and this has dangerous effects. But there are three top reasons why we need to do this: build trust and teamwork, keep work on track, and improve team productivity. And these are kind of obvious things why we would want to do this. But just there's this one aspect of, let's just say there's a habit in organization not to be transparent. And can you imagine how many valuable things that needs to be communicated are not actually communicated? What's the likelihood of some of the issues that should have been addressed in the previous status meeting, where we had a chance to have our VP to address the issue and make some calls and help us out to overcome the issue, so the project is actually not failing, but the project is back on track on being a success for the company. So some of that transparency, culture that is not there could really, really bite you. Let's just say that it can just bite you, right? I'm going to say where. But the point is that we need to be able to not just say, hey, let's be transparent. It's got to be sort of company-wide, methodology. How are we transparent? Say, look, I'll take the red, indicator. I take the yellow indicator. I'll take the you explaining to me that there's an issue with the project, but I do want people to be transparent. So how do we actually achieve something like this? Again, these are some of the hints that you may want to take, and process on your own, and maybe discuss with the colleagues. Say, hey, I was on the webinar, talked about the transparency. It would be nice to have some more transparency in our company, right? And there's some hints that you can bring up as far as how you can actually not just say, we want to be transparent, but how do we do this? So let's let everyone see the big picture. So there's, again, different angles, how you look at it. Big picture. A lot of folks, especially in the large projects, a lot of folks who are joining the project midway, or they're doing the specific thing, they may not know the big picture of what is going on. And having that big picture communicated and being transparent also helps. Let them see the data. So have the data available. I mean, you may not necessarily need to send it in their face all the time, but have the data available. There's a bunch of this new technology where we have shared drives where shared drive is a very old one, but OneDrive and or places where we can put our files, put the information, the status reports, everything in there, and then just have team members all over the place available, this information available for them to read and pick this information at any time. Make the collaboration easy. That's just something that we were talking about the communication. Obviously, effective communication helps the transparency. Share calendars. Go ahead and share your calendar with the team. There's features, and you can, if you need to know the specifics, you can reach out to us, and we'll help you to set up those specific features. But you can set up the shared calendar in a way where it's only sharing. You don't have to, share a doctor's appointment, or you don't have to. I'm walking the dog in the morning. You don't have to share that specific of the information, but you can block this calendar. Have your personal, appointment that you have in there, but do share your calendar. You share a calendar. You don't have to. There's a way for you to not share the specifics of the appointment. If the specifics of the meeting, it will just say it's private, it's blocked, but people would know that, oh, you're available at such and such. How many emails this week? Just ask yourself a question. How many emails this week you sent about, oh, I'm available Tuesday and Thursday between X and X, and I also available next week between X and X. Now, this email goes to other 5 team members who also need to meet, and they have conflicts in their schedules. It's a mess. It's a mess to set up a communication like this. Share a calendar, throw the people in there that you want to work with. Look at the calendar system, find the spot where it's most likely people will actually have time to accept, and done. So something like this is very, very efficient. Have regular team-wide meetings. You may say, yeah, we have daily scrums, we have daily meetings, we have meetings with this people, we have meetings with that people. You as a project manager could be all over the meetings all the time, but have this one regular meeting with everybody. This is where it's level set, and instead of communicating to every single one of them sometimes the same information, you may have this one meeting that the information that should be shared with all of them could be communicated in one shot. And this is where you also show that you're transparent. You have opportunity others to ask questions, and that also helps. Choosing the right project management tool. We're going to talk a lot about that in that next software point here out of 5. So I'm going to just leap to that. And software components that we wanted to talk about is, and you can look at, how the software really, again, especially at times where we're, working remotely. And if you're not working remotely, if you're a project manager who is, managing a team that is on the ground of construction projects or things like that, you're still end up having using the software. So it's important. It's impossible today to manage a project without a software. Okay, I'll take it back. Almost impossible. Okay, I mean, you can obviously manage a project in your head and do this efficiently, but in any sizable organization, I know there's some sort of a software in place to manage the project. So the software usually addresses the following capabilities: capture ideas. Some of the software systems don't do that. Some of them do. Capture ideas. It's good to have that process where you're not losing on valuable thoughts and valuable ideas of your team members, of your fellow employees, of your fellow project managers, of your fellow team members, to put the right. Sometimes it's good to have, turn it into strategic project. So project management aspect of it, the strategy execution. We will talk about this a little bit, about the alignment of everything that we do as far as projects and initiatives and execution. How is this actually aligned with higher level objectives of the company? Resource management, team collaboration, and tracking time. So these are different aspects, and you may want to be interested in one versus another. Here's where we would show you some of the, well, not some, I would say comprehensive list of this, of the methods and ideas how to achieve this goal. All right. Quick intro into the software and just an idea of how complex the technology became, right? How complex it is right now to build any type of enterprise, communication, efficiency, process related software where we're dealing with different things. And these different things are interconnected different ways. We deal with, first of all, with people and customers, outside the organization. We deal with all sorts of forecast shipments and accountants and opportunities and sales and whatnot. It's a web of different objectives, different objects that we're dealing with. And if you think that this is everything, just add more things that we talked about, sharing calendars, and files, and more and more. So and guess what? I think if we sit here for another couple of years like this would grow even further. So we don't want to necessarily be complex, right? We want to be something that is simple software to deal with. So what we are building is the platform that sort of kind of addresses.
Alex, I'm sorry if I may interrupt. I know you've been speaking for a while, so maybe give you a break, get a drink of water, and maybe I can launch a quick poll, which we always love to do to get everyone's opinion as to that current content that we're putting out, and of course get a sense of what type of content that our viewers would like to see going forward. So again, just a reminder, these polls are always anonymous, so we don't know who is checking off yeses and nos and who's voting for what. But love to get your opinion, participate. This will just take a few seconds, so I'm launching it now. If you please take a few seconds and answer these questions for us. Okay, take a few more minutes. I see most of you are participating. Great, thank you very much. Give you a few more seconds to kind of complete this. All right. See if I'm encouraging, we get more participants. And I'll be sharing the results momentarily, so everybody will see the results of these polls. So I think this is good information for everyone involved. Okay, I think we're ready to close the polls. Everyone has voted. And why don't we go ahead and share the results? So great. Well, I guess we're certainly heading in the right direction. And these are our plans to give you more content that are centered both around process and tools. And this is just really informational for us to kind of see who's utilizing what and to help them be more productive. Okay, great. Thank you very much, and we'll go on with our presentation. Okay, Alex, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Yuri. Thanks, everybody, for participating in the poll. So speaking of the software, and we deal most of the time with projects that are IT or software related or technology building projects. So there's a lot of this going on. especially now where the pandemic is basically forcing us to rely more and more so on technology. You see a lot of projects that are coming up, that are popping up as far as remote work and efficiency, and Microsoft pushing work to Teams, and Zoom is out there, and a bunch of other tools that are helping us to be productive and be efficient in our communication, in our goal setting, in our reports and things like that. And not just like we wanted it, we were sort of ready for it, but now it's more so pronounced than it used to be. With that, we do have our sort of historical way of looking at project management software. I'm the former project MVP, and obviously we all know the Microsoft Project tool as one of the many out there. But this is sort of everybody. This has been most. This has been the the oldest one around there, and it's probably the standard, if you will, for basic schedule management, and more so advanced schedule management, and obviously the Primavera with construction industry to it is standing sort of separately. But if we look at this from the role perspective and from the capabilities perspective of what the software should be able to do, we're looking at the role, and from the kind of bottom-up perspective, we're looking at information worker, information project manager, and PMO professional and project manager. So most of you have probably sitting in one of these buckets where you're dealing with different types of aspects of project management, and some of you who are dealing with the PMO professional project management types, you may want to have more capabilities in the project management software, where if you're dealing with what you're dealing with during the day, and then project management is something that you don't deal with on a daily basis, but you are participating in one of the projects, then your expectation to the software is going to be lower than that. So there are different spectrums and different capabilities for different roles. And obviously there are different tools and that allowing you to work within the project. And within Microsoft, we do have Planner, we do have Project for the Web, we do have Project Online, we do have Project Operations. Now, there's a lot of, I would say, overwhelming quantity of these different solutions that is out there. And today's webinar is really not about, the variety of these different solutions. Today's webinar about one of our, kind of go-to solutions that is sort of encompasses, a lot of this. And the Power PPM is the focus for us right now. And what I explained to you is that the Power PPM has a very wide range of capabilities. And the reason why it has a wide range of capabilities, because this is basically concentrated and an overarching solution and platform that allows you to do basically anything that you can imagine within your project management software. So starting from the ideas, starting from the initiation of projects and very basic project management and very light project management styles, all the way to most complex multi-thousand line type of schedules where you need to kind of manage those type of monsters or programs or portfolios of projects. And in between, you have all sorts of variations of managing and hooking up to Jira as your agile platform, or hooking up to Azure DevOps as your Microsoft side of the DevOps shop, and everything that is in between. And we're gonna kind of take a quick look at that, but it does allow you to cover basically a lot of ground as far as project management software, and have it natively be baked into your Office 365 environment. I know that we are working with, and we're partner of the Atlassian as well, and we're partner of data solutions like Snowflake and things like that. But most of the companies, believe it or not, most of the companies are customers of Office 365. I know if you're not customer of Office 365, one way or the another, you're using Microsoft solutions in there. So what we are building our solutions on top of this Power Platform, and Power Platform has the Power Apps, the Power BI, Power Automate, a lot of Power word in there. But this is the Power BI. Power Apps solution that is out there available for us to share with our customers. So some of the things that we already have as part of the solution. I mean, could be a little bit more more complex than you're thinking of, but I'm gonna quickly kind of go through this. We do have standard things like percent completes and KPIs and things like that. But you also start having like snapshots and reports backs and baking into the making the financials into the out of the box solution. So a lot of really, really powerful things getting in part of the solution. Also, there's a roadmap. We're always improving and getting more things in there, like timesheets and artificial intelligence modules and things like that. So we are ready for the big data game. We're ready for the scaled out operations and scaled up operations. A lot of these aspects are being basically taken care of. We have it on the roadmap, and happy to share with everybody. The complex, most of the complex part of the implementation of any project management process or software is this resource management aspect of it. So we do have the resource management module that is covered separately and could be applied to actually any existing project management solution. So if you do have project management solution and you don't have resource management solution, this is a specific platform that covers the resource management separately, and it's basically available for you to plug it into your existing project management solution as your resource management. I'll give you a little hint as far as how does it look like, but we do have at the bottom, we do have the strategy module, we do have the scheduling module, and that basically encapsulates the project management module, which is overarching this too, with all these aspects of the project management, such as change requests, risks management, financials, issue management, snapshots with trends and things like that. So the team planner that I talked about as far as resource management is the resource management module, where you do have the capability of drag and drop resources into your projects at this high level. So no more, big Excel files with all the people listed and who's working on which project. So this has been thought through. We've been working with, I don't want to say thousands, but hundreds of different customers, and collectively having the wisdom of what is it the real solution for resource management, and we do have it figured out. You can see that it's also baked into the teams. If you do have teams in your company, then you have it baked into teams, but it can also work standalone as a web application. As far as reporting, scalability, the best practices, it's all baked into the solution. So we're happy to share with you all that wisdom. Hopefully it's, you'll find this valuable. For some of you who are interested in more, architectural structure, how do we have this built in? Again, this deck will be available for, upon your request if you'd like to. So this is where we look at the common data model, where we have the platform of the Power Apps and things on top of this, including Power PPM as a managed solution and a team planner as a separate solution, also a link into the common data service. But the important part here at the bottom, and most of you would deal with at least one of these solutions. And we have Oracle and Jira and ServiceNow and Salesforce and SAP. So we do have the great connections, great capability, great opportunity to connect to this line of business applications out there and bring this into our project management information, where it would help us to make those project management decisions more efficiently. So there are some of the quick steps as far as deployment. We do have this broken down as project management professionals. We are we kind of need to know how to execute the project. So we got this very structured. Build, test, and production, and these are split into the solution, so we can get this 1, 2, 3 and get it done to you. And this slide is showing you what kind of modules we would be able to go through and get this done, get this up to you through the build and design, test, and release to you in a 2 to 4 week time frame. So getting this solution out there is getting out to you in 2 to 4 weeks time frame. I mean, this is at this time around, we can really get this out there and deploy this at this speed of implementation. This is amazing. Obviously, this feedback back and forth, we can go back and revisit this, and our managed services offerings are coming into play, where we would be able to kind of make sure and hold your hand, long enough for you to actually achieve those results. Some of the things I don't think I have time to go through for everything, but this is going through the ideation process. Here's an examples of business case and some of the screenshots as far as how the application is actually looking like. A lot of this is data-driven app, and based on Power Apps, Power BI reports incorporated into the Power BI into the Power App. We do have financial forecasting. The financial structure could be different, could be brought in from different systems also. Speaking about risk management, some of the standard risk matrices is already baked into the solution. Some of the key performance indicators are already baked into the solution. This standard red, yellow, green RAG indicators, red, amber, green indicators are here, and their flavor. They're not just red, yellow, green, but they're also there's a rationale behind each of these indicator, saying that we are financially on track, or we are X amount of dollars off of the baseline. So you can also kind of tweak this up so it makes more sense to you. Change requests, a part of the solution out of the box. Change requests and issues. The status reporting is pushed to the automation. So you can if you get the report once, you can set it up so it runs every week automatically. Every week automatically runs and creates a PowerPoint report automatically. So the one that is you can distribute to your stakeholders automatically. Some of this automation is really available out there. I mean, I'm telling you that is out there available. Portfolio and programs, roll up information from the projects all the way to the programs and all the way to the programs and portfolios. Could be mixed up. Could be part of the program, could be part of this portfolio, part of this portfolio, could be part of this program. You can mix it up, and we call it custom portfolios, as you will. But anyway, the point is that we do have out of the box built-in program management framework and portfolio management framework, including the rolled up financials, including the rolled up master schedules for those programs. I'll repeat, master schedules for programs from multiple projects are rolled up into the program schedule, and you can visually see this on the software. It's very important. Demand and capacity. So we also have our team planner built into the solution, where the team planner servicing the resource management part of the process. And this is where we have our heat maps and allocations, over allocations, and things like that. Also including the allocations to the administrative tasks as well. So we can definitely have a deeper dive into that. But that's part of the solution. The timesheets, tracking time, tracking actuals into the system, making sure we have reporting against those actuals already in place. What is simulations and some additional analytics. Also participate in analytics from with information from other line of business systems. That's also available here. Governance and auditing, everything is trackable, traceable. It's up to you how you want to track and trace it. All the workflow steps, all the branches of the workflow traditionally is out there, but available for you to start adding more approval cycles, adding more notifications based on certain conditions and business rules. You can make it really, really complex. I mean, I'm personally don't like to make things complex, but if you're working on a complex process, you can make this really, really comprehensive. We'll just not call it complex.
Yeah, I don't know, Alex, also if you mentioned, but I think it's really important in this age of remote worker. This is all built from the ground up to work seamlessly within teams, and I think that's probably an important fact to mention.
Right. And the teams, yeah, you may not even leave Teams to work on this solution. So, like right within Teams, and you can just have it there. You don't need to open the browser for it. I mean, you can also open the browser for it, but you can just have it within your Teams, and that's all you would need. Um, some of the capabilities for the machine learning, like understanding how many projects or some statistics to analyze as far as your project management information. So this is the out of the box Power App, mobile app that you can have out there available to you. Works great. It's something that Microsoft has as part of the framework for the Power Apps, and we are just leveraging this. But this is really, really working great on the mobile, tablet, things like that. So as far as to recap, so we talked about the goal setting, uh, organizational level setting, professional level setting, personal professional level setting. We talked about the systemizing the process of project management. We talked about the communication, the center of the project management practice, the transparency, how do we share the information, how openly we share the information, and the technology that allowing us to achieve all these four steps in the environment, in the conditions that given the remote work, given the fact that we are here to do a lot of remote work, not to see each other, as often as we were before. And I am happy to share some of the information about the Trusted IT group at a glance. We have, I don't know, we have a lot of different things. We've been doing this for a long time. We do have a lot of customers who are happy and with us, and we do have a lot of videos on the YouTube channel. We are sharing this information also on the YouTube, and here at the bottom you can see that there were partners of many different organizations, and we're working with Microsoft very, very closely. We work with Snowflake as our data analytics and data warehouse and the practice. We do work with Atlassian as Jira partner, as Atlassian solution partner, as well as with Scaled Agile Framework, SAFe, to scale out those agile practices. I do want to thank you for stopping by here. I think timing is just perfect right now. I do want to thanks everybody. I saw people, most of you have survived through the end of this. Thank you so much. I do really, really appreciate your attention, your comment here. And if we don't have any questions, I think I'm gonna
Yeah, it doesn't look like we do, but I did post the link to the YouTube replay of this webinar and also our email if you any questions come up in the future. And please let us know if you need a copy of this deck. I'm more than happy to provide it to you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to be coming up. We usually on Wednesday and try to be out there at least once, twice a month, if not more.
Yeah, if we don't see you before Christmas and New Year's, I know a lot of you are going to be busy with families and having a good time. So please do have a good time. If we don't see you or in December, I think we're going to have one more webinar. I'm not sure. But if we don't, then I wish you the happy and merry Christmas and happy New Year. And I'll see you next year if I don't this year. And again, thanks for stopping by. And